Thanks for stopping by. So, my name is Debbie. Welcome. I am here to talk a little bit about mental health, mostly as it's relating to the pandemic, to what we're all experiencing right now during COVID. By day, I am a therapist working in community mental health. I'm working from home now, like so many people are. It's been a little bit of an adjustment for sure. Coming home, doing therapy over the phone without the benefit of seeing people has been quite a challenge. But so have the issues that have been coming up for folks. Spikes in anxiety and depression and domestic violence and drug and alcohol use and suicidal thoughts. I've seen a rise in all of those. So I thought that this was a great time to kind of come on here and build community, build a safe space where we can come and talk about how we feel and what's going on for us, the whys, and a lot of fear around what's coming next. I think so many of us, we're not sure, right? And so this can be, while one side of us knows that this is often a time for great opportunity, right? Because things are crumbling around us, and that leaves a beautiful wide open field for new things. It can also be terrifying because those structures, those foundations, those things that we've relied upon without even thinking about them in most cases, because who's really thinking about the sort of structural foundation of the society in which we live in? But now we're forced to think about those things, right? And it's not an easy go. So in the work I do in community mental health, certainly I have to be a lot more adherent to traditional models of therapy. Those things that are evidence-based, a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy work, dialectical behavioral therapy work. But in this space, part of why I wanted to create this space is because there's so much more to healing, and there's so much more, I think, to the conversation, so much more that we offer one another when we come together and share. And I am a practitioner of a lot of different healing modalities. I am a tarot reader. I am a shamanic, level 2 shamanic Reiki practitioner. I've done a lot of shamanic journeying in my own private life and with other folks. I've offered workshops around that in my local community. And so I see all of these things as sort of a toolkit, if you will, for lack of a better word, as a way of approaching some of the issues that are coming at us now more than ever, right? This is a time when no one thing is going to help us through and make us feel better, right? So we need a lot of things in order to add to our toolkit and to help us kind of transition and acknowledge what we're in now, and talk a little bit about how we get from where we are now to a world that we can create now, because like I said, the field is wide open. You see me holding these cards. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the archetypal energy that I think we're experiencing right now during COVID, right? I happen to be in upstate New York. I'm about 90 miles north of Manhattan. I returned a year and a half ago, never imagining that this is how returning to New York was going to look. As most of you know, New York has been hit incredibly hard with this virus. I'm in an area that is still under lockdown. Many regions in the state are beginning phase 1 of reopening. I unfortunately am not in one of those areas, so I'm still working from home. I'm still mindful about going out. I'm still wearing a mask. I'm still social distancing, as most people are in this area. Um, but one of the things that it has really brought to mind in my own personal practice, so I'll talk a little bit about the tarot. It's a divination tool, right? It's 78 cards, 22 major arcana. Those are the more archetypal energies, right? These are large, slow moving energies that affect us globally, they affect us internally, externally, right? Sometimes the world is not going through a great archetypal transformation, but we are personally and internally right now. However, we are all going through this, both externally and internally. And there's never been a greater reflection archetypally of what we're experiencing than the tower. Okay, hope you can see that. So the tower energy, if you take a look at it, it's pretty formidable, right? When I do private readings for people and they see the tower come up, there's always that expression of like, holy shit, my life is falling apart, right? Not necessarily so. So the tower is, it is about foundational destruction. And this can be globally, and this can be internally. And all energies are on a spectrum, right? Not everything is is as far-reaching as that energy can go. Some of it is it comes in a little bit more mild. So the tower energy in our personal lives can look like, I really need a change. This job just doesn't suit me any longer. This relationship, I think I may have outgrown. This current geographic location I'm in doesn't quite speak to me any longer, and maybe I need a little bit of change. So it can be on that level, right, where we see that the structures and the foundations of our lives are maybe in need of a little tweak. Or tower energy can look like, I've lost my job, my relationship, I never saw it coming, but it is completely being destructed right in front of my eyes. Or it can be a global pandemic, where the very core and foundation of what we thought we knew about the country and world in which we live is really is beginning to crumble, right? Society functions in a way where we all sort of, without having to say it, right? We sort of agree to a certain set of unspoken rules, morals, values, some of them spoken actually, and some of them unspoken. And as a society, we agree on whatever level to go with the rules and go with the flow, right? And so that society kind of functions because we give it our approval to do so. We don't question a whole lot, especially in these times. I think we've become more consumers than citizens. We may be seeing the repercussions of that. But this is a time of great upheaval. It's a terrifying time because every structure and everything you thought you could count on, you're starting to realize, we're all starting to realize that that's not necessarily true, right? It's requiring a lot of us internally that we never thought we'd have to deal with. We are staying home. We are working from home. Many people have lost employment. People are becoming homeschoolers who never in a million years thought that that would be the case for them. Maybe having to work as well as raise children at home, live with partners for whom it's probably not a good idea to be this closed up with people, which is why we're seeing a spike in domestic violence situations. And so here we are in this time that we don't have any way of relating it to anything else, because as a society we really haven't lived with this. If you still have parents alive who lived through the Depression, uh, they understand this a bit better than we do, right? They had to make great sacrifice and went from a place of having to a time of having nothing. Bread lines, food lines, loss of employment, utter poverty. Um, we are probably heading in that direction, right? So our mental health will suffer, our relationships will suffer, our ability to stay tethered and grounded to something that makes sense for us is being challenged at its very core, right? So what we're seeing is a rise in anxiety, a rise in fear, a rise in us versus them, right? People who wear masks versus people who don't, as crazy as that sounds. Um, but we are all being challenged. And so, what do we do with this rise in anxiety, with this levels of depression, with family situations that feel too much to bear? Right? This is what my practice is about. This is why I felt the need to come on here, right? So, one thing you should know is that what comes in the tarot, and this is a major arcana card, what numerically follows the tower? The star. Healing. Aquarius. This is the card of Aquarius. We are entering the age of Aquarius, right? But we don't get here ever in life without going here first. This is why this particular period is so difficult, because we want to spiritually bypass this because it's awful and it hurts, it's painful, and we want to go right here. We want to rainbow and unicorn our way through life. And that's not possible, right? That's just not possible. If you've lived on the planet for any length of time, you know, your own life speaks to this, that this is not possible without some of this, okay? But this is where we are heading, okay? I want you to remember that this is where we are heading. This total destruction, foundational scrapping of everything we thought we knew, because we knew in our heart and souls that a lot of this was not working, right? This system that we currently have worked for a few. It hasn't worked for the many for a very long time. Look around at the disparities in our culture. You know, especially in this country, that the inequalities are great. Some of us have the luxury, and yes, I do feel it a luxury, to be able to stay home, to stay safe, to shelter in place, to still have jobs, to make a choice every day about what we're going to do, whether we're going to be responsible or not. So many people that is not true for, right? So within this, there is great opportunity. I do believe that. But I'm not a spiritual bypasser, right? I get really sort of angry about the rainbow and unicorn crowd because we do need to grieve our losses, right? We need to feel in this moment. We need to be with it, not 24/7, not at the expense of joy and happiness and connection that we're finding in so many ways with our neighbors, with our Zoom chats, with our friends from all over the world, right, that we're still able to connect with. This kind of slowing down, which is so important. But we do need to experience our grief as well. Acknowledge it. Sit with it. This is not an easy time, right? So how do we do that? Well, grounding practices are really important, right? I see all of this on social media about, oh, take a new class, learn a language, bake bread, freaking, I don't know, start a whole new career. Well, all of that is wonderful. And for folks for whom that feels right now, God bless you. Continue to do it. But if that's not where you find yourself, if you find yourself in a different place than that, please know that you are the majority and not the minority. Social media makes everything look a lot grander than it really is, right? You're only seeing the prepped moments, you're not seeing any behind the scenes. And so allow yourself the time to grieve. And what does grieving feel like? It feels awful, it feels sad, it feels like a wishing we could go back, an understanding that normal is going to be different going forward, and allowing those feelings of grief to come through. Let yourself cry, let yourself sleep, let yourself binge watch. Also, let yourself get some movement, right? Got to move. Do some yoga, do some stretching. YouTube is a fantastic place for all of that, right? You just type in a word and there's thousands of videos, right, to support what you would like to do. I can't stress it enough. Get some fresh air, get some sunshine. Allow yourself to move, right? Get some of the cobwebs out. We get very stuck. Our energy gets stuck and we live in fear, right? Do some deep breathing exercises. 4 inhales through the nose deeply, 4 exhales through the nose deeply. Let it kind of go, right? This will placate the nervous system. It'll settle it. It'll lower your heart rate. It'll allow you to breathe. This shallow breathing that we do, which only happens right here, kind of alerts the body that there's something to be on alert for. When anxiety hits, that's where it lives, right? It lives right here. Know that you're breathing. The lungs carry grief. So when you feel tight-chested, when you feel that you can't breathe, that's grief, okay? So let it come. Breathe through it. Do your best to stay with that. I tell my clients all day long, practice it when you're not anxious. Because when you are anxious, when you need this breath the most, you're going to forget to do it, right? It's human nature, and that's okay. Have some fun. Have some fun. This has been a tough one for me. I've had to really remind myself, like, it isn't all serious. We can have some fun here, lighten the mood, watch comedies, listen to your favorite music, dance around your house, all of these things. Go outside, act ridiculous. It's okay. It's everybody is finding their way through this, and I think by coming together, we'll be able to do that here, okay? Thank you so much for showing up here today. If you've seen this video and you want more of it, hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you again. I plan to do these videos once a week. I'm working full-time, so once a week I feel I can do right now, and I really look forward to seeing you here again soon. Thanks so much.